Hey there guys, S2 Clan Neo bringing you a Legacy Dredge deck tech. Basically want to bring this video to you to show you how the deck operates and basically the card makeup of the deck. Start out by saying that this is a fairly standard deck list. Nothing too crazy or out of the ordinary. You might find a couple of cards that differ with some other decks online or something of that sort, but for the most part they're all pretty similar. So run you through what I have here, starting out with the lands here. 4 City of Brass, 4 Gemstone Mines, 4 Cephalid Coliseums, and 4 Tarnished, or 3 Tarnished Citadels, excuse me. Doesn't take much land to get this deck going. You really need like 1 or 2 land cards in your hand to really get this deck pumping. So next would be the 1-drops, 4 Putrid Imps, 3 Tireless Tribes. Both allow me to discard dredge cards to the graveyard to get the dredge going and get the graveyard full. So the dredge cards will be in this column here. 1 Dark Blast, 3 Golgari Thugs, 3 Stinkweed Imps, and 4 Golgari Grave Trolls. Can dredge all of them. Really helps to fill the graveyard. This column here, 4 Careful Studies, 4 Breakthroughs, also help to fill the graveyard. If you don't already know, basically what dredging means is that instead of anytime you could draw a card, you can return a dredge card from your graveyard to your hand, and the cost of that is putting cards from the top of your library into your graveyard for whatever the dredge cost is. So for example, the Golgari Grave Troll is a dredge 6, so anytime I could draw a card, I could instead return it to my hand and put the top 6 cards from my library into my graveyard. So instead of drawing from the Careful Study or the Breakthrough, I can just dredge a bunch of cards. Basically what you want to do is you want to fill your graveyard with a bunch of bridges from below. The Dread Returns, the Flamekin Zealots, the Icarids. You also want to have the Narcomoebas hitting the graveyard. Reason for that is anytime that they go into the graveyard from my library, I can put them onto the battlefield. So bring some creature presence to the board, and that's kind of the start of the fun. That's really how the deck gets pumping right there, and we'll come back to that in just a second. Last thing are the Cabal Therapies. If I have those in my hand, I can cast them from there, or I can cast them for their flashback cost, which is just sacrificing a creature. And if you have a bunch of bridges from below in your graveyard and you sacrifice a creature, you're going to get a bunch of zombie tokens. So basically it's disruption, as I can kind of discard my opponent's hand by naming cards on the Cabal Therapy. Kind of keep them from going too quick or from interrupting me and my play with the deck. So I mean that's pretty much the idea behind the deck, is to fill the graveyard with cards, the bridges, bring the Narcomoebas in, then cast the Dread Return from my graveyard for the flashback cost, which is sacrificing 3 creatures. So typically I'll sacrifice 3 Narcomoebas if I can, get a bunch of zombie tokens, and bring in a Flamekin Zealot. And what that's going to do is give my creatures +1/+1 and haste, and I can swing for a lot of damage. So as far as a sort of perfect hand goes, I've laid out 6 cards here. This is pretty perfect. I mean, you can't get too much better than this. Definitely can lead to a turn 2 kill. And I actually have a video of that coming to YouTube here in just shortly, so make sure you take a look at that, and you can definitely understand what it is that I'm talking about. I know that there's not 7 cards listed. The 7th card really has no bearing or effect on what's going to happen. You would need this 6. I mean, this would be pretty perfect. So basically what would happen is turn 1 you'd play either the Gemstone Mine or the City of Brass and play a Putrid Imp. At the end of your opponent's turn you want to discard the Golgari Grave Troll to the graveyard using the Putrid Imp. Turn 2, what you would do is play the other land, and you would have dredged the Golgari Grave Troll during your draw step, putting 6 cards into your graveyard. Pitch it back to the graveyard using the Putrid Imp. Now, after playing the second land, you want a careful study, and instead of drawing 2 cards, you would dredge the Golgari again. You'd put another 6 cards in there, and hope to get another dredge card in there that you can dredge again. Then you would discard those 2 cards back to the graveyard, and with the other land you would tap for another blue mana and you would cast Breakthrough. And you would basically repeat that process. So instead of drawing 4 cards, you would dredge 4 cards and fill the graveyard up even more so. I mean, at that point, basically you're drawing 2 and 4 is 6. If you hit a Golgari Grave Troll every time, you're hitting into 36 cards, plus the 6 from the draw step, so that's 42 cards in your graveyard. Granted, that won't be the case every time. You'll probably hit around 30 to 35, but the idea is to get like 3 bridges into your graveyard, pop like 2 or 3 Narcomoebas to get out of the battlefield, and then what you want to do is sacrifice the creatures on the battlefield using the Dread Return, bring back the Flamekin Zealot. Now you have a bunch of zombie tokens, and the Flamekin Zealot's going to give all of your creatures +1/+1 and haste, and you swing for lethal damage on turn 2. So that's pretty much as close to perfect as you can get using the setup that I have listed here. I know there's a turn 1 kill that uses another card. It's really expensive, and I don't intend to spend that much money on one card. I think they're like 90 bucks or something, if I'm not mistaken. So basically I mean, you could do this turn 2. If not turn 2, then turn 3. I mean, it works probably 85% of the time where you're going off. So basically, I just want to bring the video to you because I know some people have said that you definitely need to playtest this deck quite a bit to understand it and learn what's going on, and this, that, and the other. Quite frankly, I've been playing this deck for about a day or 2 now. I understand exactly what's going on. I know the workings and what I'm supposed to do. I really don't see that as an issue. It's pretty straightforward. The only thing that I do run into problems with sometimes is just the draws. Sometimes I go a turn or 2 without popping a dredge card, or no bridges or something of that nature. So I mean, that does happen. You're just fairly unlucky at that point, but other than that, you should be going off turn 2 or turn 3. So basically just wanted to show you the deck so you kind of have a bit of an understanding, and like I said, stay tuned for that turn 2 kill video I'll be posting, so that way you can get even further insight into seeing it happen in a real game. So stay tuned for that. So until next time.